So Michael, if anyone was interested in NLP and they wanted to take it further, are there any books that you would recommend?
I think there are a lot of good NLP books, but there's three I'm going to recommend particularly at the moment. The first one is by co-founder Richard Bandler. It's called Transformations. It's a recent book. It is very, very good. And it's a lot better than a lot of the preceding books. So if somebody wants to get an idea of hypnosis and NLP, a very good place to start. The next one is also by Richard, and it's called Get the Life You Want. And there again, there's some very good exercise in this. If you bought the book, it would be very useful to find a friend or a colleague and actually run through the exercises with. You'll get a lot more benefit, actually, if you have somebody work with than if you just read it yourself. But even reading it yourself, you will pick up stuff that's useful. The third one that I'm going to recommend is slightly different. It's more of a business book. It's called, strangely enough, NLP in Business. It's by a colleague of mine, Peter Freeth, and he's one of the few other NLP business trainers that I would recommend. But if you're interested in the business side of NLP, this is a really, really good book.
Okay, and I hear that you have a NLP newsletter. Could you just tell us a little bit about it?
We have an NLP newsletter that goes out to about 5,000 people every month. There again, it's totally free. You can subscribe or unsubscribe whenever you want. And there again, the link to the newsletter is on our forum.
Okay, and what about the NLP Experts Forum that you run? And the podcast series that you have?
Yeah, the forum site the object of the forum is to get people to speak in a little bit more depth about NLP. We run a monthly podcast where somebody will speak for 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes about some NLP related or communications related issue. Maybe about straight NLP, but it could be about selling or cold calling. But the key theme will be something to do with communication skills. And we do one every month, and it's there for people to listen to. It's free, there for people to listen to or to read.
Are there any NLP DVDs or CDs that people should know about?
There again, we've got a selection of CDs, but there are two that I'll bring to everybody's attention if you haven't already come across them. The first is this one called Class of the Master, which again is Richard in front of the studio audience and is great. It's a very good way of picking up attitudes, ideas, stories, and it's quite fun to watch. There is a DVD set called The Marshall Tapes, which is Richard about 20 years ago doing one-to-one work with clients. And it's quite interesting seeing one of the co-founders of NLP doing one-to-one work.
What about if somebody actually wanted to go ahead and take some training in NLP? What would you suggest they do?
I still think training is the best way to learn NLP because you get put into a safe atmosphere with, in our case, a few other people where you can really explore this stuff and push out the limits. The one thing that makes people good is practice, and what we will give people is solid practice of the best NLP with the best people to practice with. So if you can afford the budgets, if you are really interested in getting good at this stuff, I do strongly recommend training. And you can find links to our training if you go through the forum site.
Just in closing for this video series, is there anything that you'd like to say?
Other than to thank you for listening to what I've had to say and almost say, welcome to the adventure.
Michael Beale, thank you.
Thank you.